Jude Pettitt has extensive experience in human resources within Australia, and I thought it might be helpful for you to hear from her about making an impression within the first few seconds. Jude Pettitt, Head of People Services at VicRoads. What can people expect when they go for an interview with you?
Yeah, look, I probably tend to use behavioural questions because I do want them to be able to talk about what they've done in the past and give some real sense of certainty that they're not fantasising about what they would do if they were in a situation, if the world was perfect. But I guess I also like to explore where things have not gone so well for someone, because I tend to do mostly senior interviews at my level, so I'm largely interviewing executive type roles. And at that stage, you've not gone through your work life without something not having gone according to plan or not having been quite the way you wanted it. So I always like to, perhaps I'm exploring something around their negotiation experiences, and I'll often say something like, "Oh, can you tell me a time when the negotiation perhaps wasn't going the way you wanted it to? And if you were able to get it back on track, what were some of the things that you did?" And often you need to give people in that situation a bit of time to think about that, because if the conversation throws up some unexpected areas, you can't expect that they will have perhaps prepared an answer or thought about it. So I'm always very happy also in these situations to be comfortable with silences. And I think often people think that they were probably silent for 5 or 10 minutes, whereas in fact it was probably like 5 or 10 seconds. But they do need to actually sift through their experiences that they've had previously and really be able to draw out a good example, an appropriate example. I also like people who check with you when you're talking with them, and they'll sort of say, "Oh, is that what you were looking for?" And you can go, "Well, not quite. What about this?" Or you can say, "Yes, it was exactly what I was looking for." Because I think those people show quite a bit of emotional intelligence. They're very keen to go, "Well, I'm not actually getting the signals. I'm comfortable to check. I'm grown up. They can tell me if it's not what I wanted." So I think you get a level of experience and maturity if you, in fact, play it, not too much, dare I say it, not too much like an interview. I think you get a far better insight to the person.
So Jude, as the interview progresses, candidates should be feeling increasingly relaxed. What then would you be seeking from that interview?
I always like to, have a sense of what they're looking for, either in the role or in the, joining the organisation. I think that if people have applied for a particular position with you or expressed an interest, it's good to be able to know what's behind that. And you'll often get people to disclose quite a few interesting things about them. So, respectfully, they'll say, "Look, where I am, I don't feel as though I'm quite, using my talents in this direction, or what I'm really interested about in your job is this opportunity here." And they've obviously, it's a bit of a variation on, tell us a bit about why you'd actually like it. But I think you've got to relax people to actually understand that you are going to have that conversation, and you want it to be as natural as if you've got a cup of coffee and you're in a great little sort of cafe and you're going to say, "Well, what did you do there?" And I always like people to sort of tell us about something that they've been doing recently. I guess when I get a little bit uncomfortable is when people reach back into sort of 10 years ago they were doing something. And I think today's demands are, fast and for currency. So I like people to have that sense of energy and excitement about a role, but also to have some current relevant experience to talk about.